Good morning in the beautiful Galilee morning. As normal, I came out here with a cup of coffee and I got sidetracked. But as I worked in the garden this morning, I just was listening to the Father talk to me about what happens in the soil in the garden. This is called broom rape, or rape broom, I guess is what it's called. And it looks like a beautiful orchid. It has established itself, or is trying to, in my garden. This is what I've dug up so far. Scripture tells us that soil is an allegory for what's happening in our spirit man, in our hearts. And it talks about in the parable of the sower that the word planted on good soil bears fruit that's brought to perfection, because the parable is that other soils don't bring fruit to perfection, but it brings fruit that's brought to perfection. Some 60, some 30, some 60, some 100-fold. And as I'm digging out that orchid, it's really an orchid, but it's invasive. And what it does is it sweeps, so it's broom, it spreads, it sweeps an area, and it rapes. It takes the nutrients from the soil, and this plant can't bring forth fruit to perfection. Now, I know this is not grains, but the principle is the same that I was hearing him talk about the parable of the sower. There are many things in life that come our way, whether it's tradition or, some little thing that appears that, oh, that doesn't hurt. Look how beautiful it is. We're not going to get that out of our life. That doesn't really hurt anybody. If it's hurting somebody, it's really just hurting me. Yeah, just like that flower, just like that orchid. That's a beautiful plant. Look at that little flower. It's a pretty little plant. But that little plant, that little beauty will rape that soil and steal all the fruit from that soil. And that's a picture of our hearts. For too long as a community that has been keeping Torah, we've walked away from a lot of spiritual understanding. That there are things in our heart that we need to get rid of. The law's not going to save us. It never did. We can keep the law to perfection, and it does not represent the condition of our heart, and that's what the Father's looking for. I would just encourage you this morning to be introspective like I am in the garden, and be willing to let go of those things that seem harmless and even, wow, beautiful, maybe a fleshy characteristic that we're proud of, or a tradition from the law that's not commanded, that steals our vision of who Yeshua is. Whatever it is in the soil of our heart, if it's not bringing forth fruit to the Father to complete perfection, maturity, then we need to check it. We need to dig it out of the soil of our hearts. Look at that root that's formed just below the soil. Once something gets rooted, you have to dig deeper to take it out. Don't let things root in your heart that you don't want there.